Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the funniest man in America, James Gregory.
Now, before we get into anything funny, I like coming here. This is where my favorite sign in the whole world is. It's over on Brainerd Road. There's a sign out in front of a business over there. The sign says, Lawnmower Repair and Income Tax Service. Lord knows we've been needing something like that. Oh, yeah. Just think how many times over the years you and I have carried our lawnmower in to get it fixed. And while we were there, we probably said to ourselves, well, damn, I'd like to get my taxes done while I'm here. I guess they'll franchise that out now. See, you have to wonder where the guy got the idea for a business like that. Did somebody go in there one day to pick up their mower, and they said to him, you know, you did a hell of a job on this mower. I think I'll let you do my taxes. You know, people should laugh every day. It's good for you. The problem is you can't go out and see a comedian every night of the week. You people have got to learn to amuse yourselves. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips. Like, for instance, the next time you're the lead car in a funeral procession, make a wrong turn. Oh, what the heck? Lead everybody through a car wash. Hot wax for the bereaved. They like that, you know. And my favorite thing, you can do this anytime. The next time you're in the supermarket, put things in other people's buggies when they're not looking. And then get behind them in the checkout line. I swear, you'll see them, they're just like this, like. I don't remember getting that. Then they'll pay for it. If this is just for you guys out there, any of you fellows that use a shave cream called Gillette Foamy, you can verify this when you get home. Gillette Foamy now has a warning on the can. First of all, how dangerous can anything named Foamy be? You wouldn't name your poodle Foamy. But on this shave cream, it now says, warning, keep away from open flame. You know what that means? Sometime in the past, some nut has said to his wife, honey, I think I'll sit in the fireplace to shave. Before we get too far into the show, let me tell you something. Everywhere I go, people come up to me and they say, every time I see you, you're happy, you're smiling, you're in a good mood, don't you ever get depressed. I learned in traveling this great land of ours and most of the world that no matter who you meet, where they're from, what color they are, once you realize we're all equal, you feel better about everything. There's three things in this life I can't stand. Hatred, bigotry, midgets. I'm sorry, I just don't like them. You ever wanted to spray a midget with Raid to see what it would do? You know, make it wiggle a little bit. You know what gets me? Think about this. Everyone in this room has seen a midget before. No one in here ever sees more than one midget at a time. You go over to the mall, there'll be thousands of people. One midget. Could be a law, I don't know. But you've never seen a daddy midget and a mama midget and a station wagon full of midget kids. If midgets never get together with other midgets, how do we keep getting more midgets? It's worrying me to death. I know what I'm talking about. I used to own a midget. I did. I got it for my birthday when I was a teenager. What I really wanted was a go-kart. If my parents couldn't afford it, they said, well, hell, let's get him a midget. I hung him on the rearview mirror of my car. He just dangled there. You all have a restaurant here at Poor Folks. The sign in front of Poor Folks Wednesday afternoon said, stop. Say howdy to our pork chops. Well, you know, I turned around. Oh, this lady started talking about regular size, hungry size. I said, heck, lady, I ain't gonna eat them. I'm gonna talk to them, get them out of here. Signs are interesting. You ever drive through a neighborhood and you'll see a sign in somebody's front yard that says, for sale by owner? To me, that seems like a lot of wasted paint. Who else would be selling this man's house? I've never seen a sign that said, for sale by neighbor. Well, heck yeah, come on in, what's up to you? They're on vacation, they'll never know. Come on, get in. There's a lot of things that just don't make sense. It bothers me that you can buy ham at Kmart. See, you folks, all right, you can see the humor in that. You know, in Mississippi, they won't laugh at that. Not only will they not laugh, they get upset. Like, oh, yeah, that's good meat over there, you know. I mean, you think about it. If you're in Kmart and you look at somebody's shopping cart, they should have in there what we all get at Kmart. Motor oil, Pampers, gifts for people we hate. I can't imagine somebody heading toward checkout and the husband saying, honey, don't forget the meat. I mean, in any grocery store, baked ham is $5 a pound. Kmart, $1.89. What did this hog die of, huh? And listen, the larger Kmart stores, they've got the restaurant in the back, the Kmart Grill. Are you aware of the fact that some of the Kmarts now have a salad bar? Oh, don't that make your skin crawl? I mean, don't that just make your butt hurt? I mean, that's like Amoco announcing they have homemade biscuits. Oh, my, I like working here in Chattanooga, and I'll tell you why. I'm from Atlanta. That means I can drive up here. I'm telling you the truth. I only take jobs I can drive to. I'm one of those people I'm afraid to fly. And when you admit that you are afraid to fly, people make fun of you. They say you're not sophisticated. Well, maybe I am. But I'm alive. I mean, you think about you on an airplane and it's taking off, and you look out the window back down to the ground, the last thing you see is the word terminal. And you know how when you're on the runway before the plane takes off, you can't just ever read all those signs inside the plane. The seatbelt sign, the no smoking sign. And I know that you folks are just like me. You enjoy reading about the flotation seats. Really, aren't they nice? See, if the plane crashes in the ocean, the seats will float. Well, la-ti-da. There's no water between Atlanta and here. If you want to make me happy, show me a seat that's going to bounce off one of these mountains over here. And get this, there's a sign over the airplane door. Do not open during flight. You know what that means? Sometime in the past. Some nut has said to his wife, honey, I'll be back in a minute. Oh. Now, in case you all haven't noticed this so far, I'll point it out to you. I don't do any sexual or political humor, and I'll tell you why. I keep getting the two confused. Really, I was on this television show in New York some weeks ago, and they asked me, they said, what do you think about the Middle East position? Don't be getting ahead of me on this. I said, well, heck, I enjoyed it. But it hurt my wife's back. Do you ever think about what dumb things people say? Now, I don't mean dumb things that dumb people say. They're supposed to. Really, it's kind of like their job. I'm talking about the dumb things that intelligent, cultured, sophisticated people, like me and you. Y'all sitting there saying us, maybe. You know this television show, Knight Rider? The next time you're watching that show and there's other people in the room, somebody in the room, usually a college graduate, somebody will say, I'll bet you that's somebody else doing that voice. You feel like saying, boy, that education's paid off for you. But we don't, though. We say, oh, it probably is. Probably like it's open for debate. You know. And remember when you was a little kid, how somebody that you loved a lot would say things out of ignorance that would embarrass you sometime? My mother would do that. Somebody remember back in high school when you had to diagram sentences? My mother was at a PTA meeting. She asked my teacher, she said, how's Junior doing? That was me. Teacher said, well, he's doing pretty good, but he's having trouble with his dangling participle. True story, my mother says, well, he can't help it. It's been that way since he was 3 years old. What happened was he got it caught in the spokes of his tricycle. Oh, it was awful, it right over the handlebars. He just laid out there and hollered and hollered. See, when you're a small child, the adult language doesn't make any sense. My mother would come out on the porch and she'd say, if you fall out of that tree and break your leg, I'm gonna whip your butt. And I'm thinking, what a cool woman. Gonna beat up on a cripple like that. And see, everybody's got one person in their family or one close relative that is so stupid. It's the one you can't argue with. I tell you what, it's the same relative that keeps missing the 6 o'clock news because he don't know what time it comes on. I got an uncle that way. They did about my uncle. The bank called him up, told him that his account was overdrawn, so he mailed him a check. His dream in life is to own a 2-story mobile home. I told him, I said, Uncle Robert, there's no such thing. He says, well, they ought to be for people that's got money. Anyway, we was over at his house one night watching television. The Muppets had this TV special on. Miss Piggy come on the TV screen, and my uncle said, I bet you that's not a real pig, I just bet it ain't. I mean, I don't care how many degrees you got hanging on the wall, you can't argue with that idiot. Well, Uncle Robert, I believe you're right about that. Well, heck yeah, I'm right. Let me tell you something. I've been around pigs all my life. I will say this. From the neck up, the whole head. That looks authentic. But a real pig wouldn't wear a dress like that. He's the kind of guy that brags on his dog all the time. You ever heard somebody say this when they're bragging on their dog? They'll say, he don't know he's a dog. He don't. He thinks he's one of us. I tell him, I say, you paid $100 for that puppy. Get your money back. He's got brain damage. If he don't know he's a dog, he's going to spend his whole life running around wondering to himself, Why am I barking? Oh, man. And I know, being average Americans, every day of your life, this thought goes through your mind at least once. Some mornings when you wake up, it's the first thought on your mind. And that is, wonder why anybody wants to be on Family Feud. Well, here's what I think. I keep visualizing some family out around Nebraska or Iowa, sitting around the dinner table one evening. The husband says, honey, you know what? They ought to be a way that we can let this whole country know our family's illiterate. Now, wait a minute. I know everybody here in Des Moines knows it already. I mean, coast to coast, just let them know we don't have a lick of sense. You know? So you end up watching them on the show. The lady introduces everybody. Now, Richard, I'd like for you to meet our handsome son, Eric. And that makes you sit up straight because you can see Eric's ugly. Eric's a senior at UCLA. He'll be graduating this year. And you're thinking Eric's going to do all right on this show. He's going to college. Now, later on in the program, it's Eric's turn to answer. And we all know what tough questions they have on Family Feud. Now, see, once again, in Mississippi, that line won't work. Down there, when I say, you know what tough questions they have on Family Feud, the whole audience is going, oh, yeah, boy. Anyway, the question for Eric is, name one of the states that begins with the letter K. And of course, Eric is stumped on this. But just before the buzzer sounds, he says Connecticut. Am I upset with Eric? No. It's that family of his. Good answer. Good answer. And they paid for his education. Like, yeah, that's good, Eric. See, I don't want to sound like a snob, but if I'm going to watch TV, it's going to be something cultured and educational, like People's Court. Laugh if you want to, but I'm going to tell you something. If my neighbor's cat ever pees on my rug, and she won't pay to have it cleaned, I may go see Judge Wapner myself. Yeah. You know what I like about that show? Halfway through the show, they pause long enough to tell me and you, they say, these people are not professional actors. Had me fooled for so long. Of course, one good thing about television, the commercials are getting honest. There's one on now that tells the truth. You've heard it. It's not a car, it's a Volkswagen. Well, it's about time they fessed up on that. And then, of course, they still got the stupid ones, like the one for X-Lax. We're talking about a laxative now. In the commercial, you've got this grown woman talking to her grown daughter. They refer to X-Lax as their family's best friend. Wonder where they go for Christmas dinner, huh? I mean, the next time that commercial is on, you listen carefully to what the man says. Now, he's talking about a laxative. He says, and I quote, "It works while you sleep." I don't want that. No, I want to be up and awake, ready to go. When I first heard that, I said to myself, I said, what a laundry bill, you know. Oh, I've been traveling around. Those of you that's never been to Oklahoma, don't go. That's the most God-forsaken place. In my prayers at night, I'd say, God, just get me out of Oklahoma. And God would say, where in the heck's Oklahoma? And I say this, too, not just because I'm here. I was recently up in New York State, and I said the same thing. Every American should go to Huntsville, Alabama once a year just to get in touch with reality. Now, let me explain that to you. This whole world's so complicated, we can't keep up with it anymore. The people in Huntsville are single-handedly trying to keep it simple. I'll explain. The main thoroughfare through that city is called Memorial Parkway. They built a big shopping mall there. They named it the Mall. I like that. Here's what they would have done somewhere else. They would have appointed committees, spent thousands of dollars to come up with just the right name. Not up there. They went to the people, and they said, what should we name this? And the people said, well, what are you building? They said, we're building a mall. And the people of Huntsville said, well, damn. I got a suggestion for you. I do notice in traveling around that you folks have the same problem as other cities. That's all your interstate and highway construction going on. And isn't that a lot of fun? I know every time I get ready to go on a trip, I say, oh, I hope they don't have the roads fixed yet. See what gets me? When they're working on the highway, they won't put up one sign thinking we'll see it. They'll put up a sign that says the same thing, and they put it up every 50 yards. Could be a law, I don't know. But you're driving along, they're working on the highway, and they put a sign out there, and the sign says, road narrows. You know what that means? Sometime in the past, some nut has said to his wife, honey, I believe our car just got wider. So, starting tomorrow, some of y'all will be comedians, you know that? Every time you see a sign, you'll say, know what that means? You know, if I could be serious for a moment, you know, you hear people say all the time that we Americans aren't as civilized as we used to be, not as humane as we once were. After all these years that have gone by, half the people blame that on Vietnam, the other half blame it on Watergate. I blame the whole situation on Colonel Sanders. And I know you're sitting there and you're saying, I hope he explains that. I will, that's my job. You realize before Colonel Sanders came along, the only thing that ate dinner out of a bucket was a hog? Now he's got everybody doing it. Let's say you go down to the Kentucky Fried Store. They're waiting on the man in front of you. He's about 5'8". He weighs 340 pounds. He can't hardly breathe. And I'm glad to see y'all find that funny. Yeah, man's gasping for air. Yeah, we'll laugh at that. You're my kind of people. Now, you know how they got the menu on the wall over the counter? All this man can do is breathe and point. Like, and the girl says, can I help you? I feel so stupid doing this. At this point in the show every night, you know what thought goes through my mind? James, why don't you just go get a job? It's too late. You know, I could have been a forklift operator. I could. My dad was, and his dad before him. When I got out of high school, my dad could have got me on down there at the plant where he works, just like that. But did I take it? No. I want a bucket of chicken. And then the girl says something ridiculous like, how do you want that cooked? You want original, extra crispy, or what? Trust me, people, this man don't care. She could spit in there, he don't care. Give him a live chicken, he'll kill it. She's talking to a human being that's about to eat a bucket of food. I'm telling you, these fast food companies are getting out of hand. Look at Burger King. I've never had the desire to eat anything called a Whopper. Well, maybe once. Long time ago, I was drunk. For a long time, Burger King had those commercials on TV telling all of us, even our young people, to go out and eat a pita. Remember those? I mean, don't get me wrong. I think what you do in your own bedroom's your own business. But if the drive-in one at noon, I don't think so. And by the way, have you noticed that's one thing that all of us fat people have in common? We'll do anything in the world to lose weight except quit eating. We like to read books, join clubs. Matter of fact, we like to read a good diet book while we're eating a box of cookies. You know? And I've tried every fad diet that come along. Remember Dr. Stillman's water diet? You had to drink 14 glasses of water every 24 hours. I lost 2 pounds the first day. My bladder fell out. But I'll tell you what, I invented a diet. You fat people write this down, I don't mind. What you do before every meal, you drink a half a pint of Seagram 7. You're still hungry, but you can't find your mouth. You know, fat people will eat anywhere. I hate it when they eat in bed. It's nighttime, you take a shower, you crawl between the sheets, and there's tater chips in there. But see, when it comes to being overweight, we all become hypocrites. In other words, it's all right to be fat, but it's not so all right to date a fat person. That makes us hypocrites. And I know, I used to date a fat woman. Oh, Lord. Just so you'll know what I'm talking about. The moment you saw this woman, you just assumed that somebody in her family owned a flatbed truck. I tell you, there was no daylight between her thighs. Well, let me say one other thing. Anytime we went somewhere early in the morning, I'd tell her, I'd say, "Hun, don't wear nothing yellow. School children might jump on." You see, we've all got our pet peeves, things that bother us. If you smoke cigarettes, that's all right. It's your business. Go right ahead. And if you want to light up when you get through making love, that's fine. But it hurts my feelings when somebody smokes during sex. And they talk to you. They say things like, "Hand me that ashtray." Or what'd you do with them tater chips? And the worst I was ever insulted, I was with this woman, I was about 90 seconds away from, well, we'll say fireworks. This woman looked up at me and she said, "Wow, I could have had a V8. I saw something interesting in your newspaper today. If you have today's paper, you'd verify this. This is not a joke. One of the tire companies, either Firestone or Goodyear, they got a big sale on automobile tires. They got a full-page ad. I noticed in looking at that ad that underneath each tire, in very small print, it said, "Not actual size." I don't have to tell you, that ruined my whole day. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting some of them little bitty wheels. Let's think about this. Somebody with Goodyear had to make that decision. Did they think somebody was going to go in there, see the paper, then say to his wife, "Honey, look at him. That's a lot of money for a tire that little, you know." They're thinking we won't notice that. Think about this. You go into a grocery store, you buy a lemon pie, a bag of lemon candy. You read the label, it'll say made with artificial flavoring or made with imitation lemon. Now you go to the other side of the store to get some furniture polish, they got lemon pledge. On the can, it says made with real lemon. That bothers me. We're eating the artificial junk and we're spraying the good stuff on the coffee table. I'll tell you all what's wrong with America today. Giant cookies. That's right, them big cookies. You get them over at the mall. You got one cookie, size of a hubcap. Cost $8. That ain't right. Remember until a few years ago, a cookie was like yay big. Get a whole bag of them for $1. I remember as a little kid getting ready for school, my mother would say, Junior, that was me. You want a cookie in your lunch? I said, yeah, that'd be good. Now mother says to her child, son, you want to take a cookie to school with you? Well, yeah, if I can get somebody to help me carry it. See, there's a lot of things out there that don't make sense these days. Every store you go into, they got these little machines. You put a quarter in there, get your pulse, your heart rate checked. You know what I'm talking about. It bothers me that you can get your heart checked at Pizza Hut. Does this make any sense? I can't see a guy going into Pizza Hut saying, yeah, this order's to go. Give me a large Super Supreme, double cheese. I love cholesterol. Give me a lot of jalapeno peppers. I want to remember this pizza till next week. I'll have a pitcher of beer while I'm waiting. And what the heck, I might as well get my heart checked while I'm here. And listen, think about this. Department stores are practicing medicine. For almost 20 years, we think it's all right. Let's say you go over to Sears and Roebuck just to look around. And by the way, if you notice, that's what we all do at Sears now. Nobody buys anything over there. Well, you're off this afternoon. What you gonna do? Well, I'll tell you. I think I'll go over to Sears and look around. All right. You're over at Sears. You're in the lower level, the basement. That's the hardware department. All you're doing is checking out what's new with Black & Decker. You ain't gonna buy nothing. You just looking. Now you get ready to leave. You go around the lawnmowers. Well, let me interrupt this a minute. Lawnmowers. On every lawnmower you've ever seen, not a sticker, not a label, embedded, molded into steel so you can't ever erase it. It says, keep hands and feet away from blade. You know what that means? Sometime in the past, some nut has said to his wife, honey, come here, let's trim them toenails of yours. Anyway. All right, now, you're leaving Sears, you're headed toward the, oh, listen, you know what else you do while you're there? You always take time to look at that 72-drawer tool chest. Every Sears store has one, they've never sold the darn thing. Nobody wants it. It weighs a ton and a half. Where would you put it? They put it on sale twice a year. Nobody buys it. I grew up going with my daddy to look at that. He'd sit in the Sunday morning paper. He'd say, look at him, Junior. That was me. I see Sears has got that 72-drawer tool chest on sale again. You want to go over there after dinner and look at it? I'd say, yeah, I'll go with you over there. See, I guess that that's what's really wrong with this country today. Sons don't go with their dads to look at toolboxes no more. I bet you that there's some of you in here that never went with your daddy to look at paneling. See? My dad didn't need no paneling. He just liked to look at it. He'd sit in the paper on Sunday morning. He'd say, look at here, Junior. I see they got that paneling on sale again. You want to go over there and look at it? I'd say, yeah, I'll go with you over there. Anyway. And I'll tell you something else, too. I'm going to see my dad again Monday. If he wants to go look at something else, hell, I'm going to go with him. You ain't got but one daddy, you know. All right, now, we're still in that Sears store, ain't we? We got to move along. Now, all right, you're leaving Sears, headed toward the door. On your way out, you bump into an optometrist. Listen to me, there's an eye doctor working in the basement of Sears. Don't you know that his mom and dad are real proud of him? Think about his parents. They're the ones that mortgaged the house, cashed up the life insurance to educate this twerp, hoping someday to brag on him. Hey, George, that son of yours, the one went to college for 13 years, where's he working now? Sears. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard rumors that Kmart now has a brain surgeon on their payroll. I mean, it's kind of obvious those cashiers got their lobotomy somewhere. You ever heard somebody say this? I think I'll make a quick stop here at Kmart. Not likely, no. Takes you 30 seconds to find what you want and the rest of your life to get through checkout. Now, let me illustrate this for you very quickly. It's Saturday morning, you're off work, you're cleaning the apartment. You need one can of Comet for the bathroom, that's all you need. You run over to Kmart, you know you won't be in there long, so you park where it says no parking. You leave the motor running. You dummy. But sure enough, once you get in the store, it only takes you about 30 seconds to find what you want. You got your hand on this can of Comet, and you're so happy. You're almost bubbly. Store's not crowded. Matter of fact, you're the only one there. Now you get up there to pay for it. It's just you, one can of Comet, and the Kmart cashier. And you know what she's like. Sir, these are 2 for $1. And you just got one. Well, of course she's stumped. What a math problem. Customer assistance, register 1. Oh my, see, you gotta learn to have a good time every day. No matter how much money you're making, what kind of job you got, what kind of house you live in, we all have a day that comes along where on that day, we feel kind of sorry for ourselves, like everybody around us has got a better life than us. They're making more money, they got a better house. And we're just tired of Chattanooga, tired of where we live, we're just bored, like the world's going by and leaving us behind. On a day like that, you need some excitement in your life, a spark to your day. You listen to what I'm telling you, I wouldn't lead you wrong. You try this sometime. It is against the law to go through a red light. It is not against the law to stop on green. I do that every once in a while. Oh, it's chaos. See, they didn't think anybody would ever do it. There's no law on the books. The policeman's going to pull you over and he's going to say, hey, you stopped on green. And you can say, yeah, I know it. Have a good day. You ever heard somebody say this? I'm out of work, I don't have any money, I can't go anywhere, but I still like to see other people have a good time. Liars, liars, liars. I'm going to be honest with you, if I'm miserable, I'm going to mess up somebody's life. Here's what you can do. If you're not working, all you're doing is watching television. So anytime, Monday through Friday, right at lunchtime, when McDonald's is the busiest, go through their drive-in window, order a bunch of stuff, then pretend your car won't start. Just sit there and block the window. Sometimes you'll have cars lined up a half mile, and every one of them's got to be back to work in 30 minutes, except you. And you ain't got diddly squat today. Just get out and sit on the hood. Wave at them. You can talk to them if you want to. You can say things like, how long y'all get for lunch? See, I'm kind of perturbed with McDonald's anyway. And don't misunderstand, this is not a put down. Because over the years, I've eaten everything that McDonald's has wanted to shove at me. The Egg McMuffin, the McRib sandwich, but I've stayed away from these chicken McNuggets. I don't know what they are. Well, see, just let me say this. See, I know that I'm not a brilliant man. And I know y'all sitting there now going, no. Well, I know that I'm not a brilliant man, but on the other hand, I'm not a moron. I kind of linger between those two. But I can tell you this, I've been eating chicken all my life. We can go over this together. You got your breast, wing, leg, thigh. Basically, that's about it. Now, where in the heck do you suppose they got these McNuggets? Let's see if we can work this out amongst us. Let's assume for a moment that there was really a part of the chicken called the nuggets. That's a cruel thing to do to a chicken. You know, for several years now, Kentucky Fried Chicken has had as part of their advertising slogan, we do chicken right. Well, I guess, by golly, compared to McDonald's, they do. And tell these people it's a lot of work. They keep filling out job applications. Nobody calls them back. The next time you fill out a job application, do it for you. Have some fun with it. See, it's an insult anyway. It's 3 pages long. Stupid questions like, how many foreign languages can you speak? As if we're going to need this at the Waffle House. In every application you've ever filled out in your life, they got a place on there for you to put down your hobbies. They want to know about your hobbies. Why? Next time, put down bowling, breakdancing, or having fits, either one. Picking up aluminum cans. Driving around the neighborhood looking for cracks in the asphalt. And killing dogs. And where it says nearest relative, put 12 miles. And don't just forget about it. Go back every day and sit in their lobby. Stare at it. Tell them you want to change something on the application. For a split second, they'll have hope for you. Say, yeah, I don't kill dogs no more. Mark that out. Cats, I'm killing cats. See, life is short. Whether you live to be 80 or whether you live to be 40 or somewhere in between, in the total scheme of things we call this universe, life is short. You got to learn. I know people who will let early morning traffic congestion on the way to work ruin their whole day. With all the real problems in the world, that's a little bit silly, don't you think? Have a new attitude out there. You get bogged down in morning traffic, look at the man in the car next to you, give him a smile, and point at his wheel. He'll pull over and you can go right on through. Oh, man. Something I've seen all my life just got on my nerves some days ago. You ever been going down a 2-lane highway, you come upon a truck in front of you. And on that truck, there'll be a sign that says wide load. First of all, why is the sign even there? If you was going down the highway and you come upon a wide load, wouldn't you just mentally say to yourself, well, doggone. There goes a wide load. But no, they always put a sign back there. Could be a law, I don't know. But you look closer and they're hauling a house. Listen to me, there's a 3-bedroom home going down the highway. Have you ever said to yourself, and I bet you have because I can tell that me and you think alike. Have you ever said to yourself, who are these people? Why can't they be like the rest of us? When you and I get ready to move, we get in the car, we drive around, we look for another house. What come over these nerds, huh? Had to be living at a place 10 or 12 years, sitting at the dinner table on a Sunday afternoon, staring out the window. They decided they were just sick of the view. Well, heck, honey, I'll tell you what let's do. Let's just load this sucker up. Imagine going to visit a friend, and not only is he not home, but his house is gone. Oh, my. This little survey I've been taking off and on now, I'm in my 5th year. I want you to simply raise your hand if you were born, raised, and spent most of your life in the state of Idaho. See? I've asked that question all over America and Miami. If you think about it, you've never gone to school with, worked with, lived near, or bumped into anyone from Idaho. So I figured, heck, maybe ain't nobody out there. If any place needs tourists, it's Idaho. So what do? They spend $20 million promoting themselves as the potato state. Lord knows, that'd sure as heck make us all want to rush right on out there. Yeah. Where are you going on vacation this year? Well, I'll tell you. Yeah, I think I'll take the wife and kids out to Idaho. Let them look at some taters. The kids, they got that new Polaroid. We'll get there and take some pictures of some home fries, crinkle cuts. Just make a summer out of it, you know. Oh, my. Some evenings when you're on your way home from work, stop at a funeral home. Go in there and tell them you want 8 gallons of embalming fluid to go. You won't get it, but you know that guy won't sleep for days. He'll be like, you know. I think one reason I feel pretty good, I just had a vacation. Most people take them in the summertime. Let's say you're on vacation. You get up early one morning, get outside your motel. You go out by the pool. You stretch out on a lounge chair. All you want to do is soak up some early morning sun. And you look over there on the fence, and you'll always see a sign there that says, "No pets allowed." You know what that means? Sometime in the past, some nut has said to his wife, "Honey, let's put the pony in the pool." Well, heck, he's been cooped up in that motel room ever since we got him. Just laying there, eating Cheetos and watching HBO. Oh, he loves HBO. Saw The Godfather this morning. It scared him to death. Go get him, let him splash around. And bring that big towel. I know a lot of you looking toward the stage and you're thinking to yourself, you know, I bet he ain't right. Well, maybe I am, but I'm glad. Let me tell you something. If you have not said this already, you will in a few years, but you heard your parents or your grandparents say it. And that is, they'll say, I don't think I'll ever be as happy again as I was as a small child. That was true yesterday, today, that'll be true forever. Small children will always be happier than adults because small children haven't learned yet that they're supposed to worry about their appearance, what they look like. That all becomes important when you approach your teens and you want to start going out with people. And when you look like I do, you end up dating some of the ugliest creatures known to man. But I'm going to tell you fellas something, once you get used to it, it ain't all that bad. I mean, if you can get the room dark enough, you'll have a good time. I tell you why, they don't know when they'll be asked out again, so heck, they make it count, you know. Oh, I've gone with all kinds. I went with one girl, she didn't know that sex and violence was 2 different things. Oh, it'd take you a month to heal. It was like... I remember the first girl I went with in high school. I'm not going to say she was a dog, but when I met her, she was 15 years old. Now, that'd be 105 to me and you. I'd like to say before my time runs out that I know enough about human nature to know that before you go see a comedian work, one of the thoughts in the back of your mind is, I wonder if that's a dirty comedian. Is he going to stand on stage and use 4-letter words all night long? I never do that because I don't want to. That's the only reason I have. Dirty words don't bother me. What bothers me are words that aren't dirty, but should be. And we're not even going to talk about kumquat. No? I mean, I say if you can buy it at the grocery store, it must be all right. But there is a word that we all use, our little children use it, our moms use it, but for some reason we'll only use it in the privacy of our own home. And that word is weenie. Oh, fess up, we all do it. You go home from work in the evening, the lady at the house might say to you, honey, what do you want for dinner? You're just as likely to say, oh, hey, cook a weenie. Yeah, I love weenies. Now, when you get to work the next day, if somebody asks you what you had for dinner the night before, you just won't say weenie. You can't. It's like God won't let you. You'll say, oh, we had some franks. We fixed up some franks. We're so ashamed of this piece of meat. We had to give it a name so we could talk about it. We call it frank. And I once knew a girl who was so self-conscious, she would only eat a weenie sideways. I know. And also, just to clarify one thing, I don't want you to think that I pick on Mississippi. I love that state. I love those people. I work over there quite a bit. I'm just upset with them because a few weeks ago, I got the only traffic ticket of my adult life down there. I'd always been told if you ever get stopped by the Mississippi State Police, don't be rude. Have a good sense of humor. Kind of joke around with the patrolman. Oh, I wouldn't do that again. No, I got stopped for speeding, and he said to me, he said, can I see your license? And I said, if I can play with your gun. Well, but I'm gonna tell you something though, some of the best cornbread I ever had in my life was in their jail down there. You're my kind of people. But we gotta get out of here. I'm gonna leave you with a tip. Some night when you're sitting home watching television by yourself and you need a laugh and a commercial comes on, close your eyes during the commercial. And that way, if you're not looking at it, you will listen more carefully to what they're saying. And you will soon discover that during these commercials, they're telling us things we don't need to know. Information we don't want. You know the commercial for Preparation H? I'm not going to make fun of the commercial. That's what they say. They say that 30 million Americans have hemorrhoids. The first thought that comes to my mind is, wonder who counted. How would you go about applying for that job? You know, yeah, I'm here about the ad in the paper. Counting butts. See, this is a product manufactured for a very limited market. If you use Preparation H, you have a problem. Trust me, this is not an impulse purchase. It's not like you're just strolling down the aisle of the grocery store. You happen to see it on the shelf, and you said, my. I simply must try some of this. No. If you're buying it, you know what to do with it. But yet on every package of Preparation H you've ever seen, in big bold letters, it says, use only as directed. You know what that means? Sometime in the pines. Some nut has said to his wife, honey, wonder how this would taste on crackers. Good night, God bless you. And I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you very much.